Yeah, Wilson, I mean, you were talking about it earlier. Businesses, they want to do business. They want to, do the thing that they do. And when cybersecurity people come in, I know it was a big challenge, even in my own corporation, when the third party recovery thing, when HIPAA started coming online and we started really getting into some very sensitive data. I mean, we held PKI for 200 major hospitals across the country, half the Veterans Administration, half of the Navy, I mean, or half of the Air Force, and now the entire DoD. So, I mean, the force was that everybody just wanted to do business. And it was hard to make that conversation of why you needed to address security and how you needed to address security. And I'm curious, in your business, how do you bridge that gap when you hit a company that says, oh, I just want to do my business, but you're like, look, you've got a huge exposure here, and how do you get them across that bridge to make them realize they do need to spend the time and the money and the dedication to protect data?
Yeah. So before businesses looked at security as a bolt-on, right?
Right.
Right. And to even dilute it even more, security was just a part of a function of your IT department, right? So you would
Right.
have an IT guy who would be running the servers, but also, doing security. So they wouldn't have like just dedicated security folks.
Right.
So nowadays you have companies that know that they need to be compliant with different frameworks, and they're somewhat paying attention to it. um, the question that I always have for these organizations is, what is it going to be worth to you if you get breached?
Yeah,
Right.
buddy.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
the several $1 million question.
and yeah, and I just say it's like, listen, it's either you look at this as an investment or you look at this as a burden, right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to look, I mean, it's going to be a requirement, right? But you want to be able to protect your business. You want to be able to protect your client's information, especially if you're dealing with, HIPAA compliance, right?
Right.
PII, all of that stuff. And you say that you just basically tell the customers, it's like, you've seen, there's so many examples of companies getting breached today. It's like, you think that you're safe? The water power plant, the water plant in Oldsmar, Florida, that no one would really care about, got hacked, right? The Colonial
The gas
pipeline
company. Yeah.
got hacked. It's like, you don't. These aren't like big things. Like, it's not like the Equifax hack, but you
Right.
right. But even if you look at the Target scenario where they exploited their AC vendor in order to get access into their point of sale systems. It's like, these small companies that have clients that are big are being exploited. So you're just a footprint to these larger companies. It's like, okay, so do you want your reputation to be impacted? How is that going to impact your bottom line?
For me, one of the fun parts of the security was the social engineering and the people part of it. And that's what a lot of people don't understand either, is they think it's just maybe a firewall. If they have any understanding of security, they think it's all IT based, and they forget the training involved, the people, because I mean, that to me is the weakest spot of all. Because, the computers don't get lazy, so to speak. But me as a human, I'll throw this spreadsheet across an email and go, oh, nobody will ever see it. It'll be in transit. So how do you educate the people on top of that? I mean,
It's so cybersecurity is not just like an IT thing, like you said,
right,
right?
right,
It's there's that human element that we need to continuously work on. A lot of companies and industry standards called as security
right,
awareness training. So all those corporate annual trainings that you have to do to say, don't click on this, don't let people, I mean, those are tools, right? To, yeah, check a box to meet a requirement, but what it takes more is to be able to build a security culture around that training, to have people not just, yeah, I did the training, that's great, I won't click on this, to actually reinforce the training and actually live the training. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's hard, right? Because we go back to operations. Just like, man, I could just send this email right now, unencrypted, and I don't have to worry about it. But it's just like, well, I know that email has a bunch of social security numbers. It's probably not the best idea. Let's think about that again,
Yeah.
right? So,
And even within the IT department, I mean, one of the hacks we had during the military was somebody just, they were setting servers up and they just set a piece of data on a FTP server and left it for maybe a couple hours.
yep,
And that was long enough for somebody to grab it and go, I got you.
yeah,
And it was not pretty. I mean, that word culture, I mean, the culture that you described was something that was always challenging for me, is to get people past that mentality of, oh, I clicked the box, I did my training, to live and go, look, this is a person's life. I mean, you let this piece of data out of your purview and outside of this enclave, they could get their credit ruined, their life ruined, da, da, da. I mean, just the litany of BS that happens. And man, I mean, I'm so glad to be talking to somebody that actually
gets it.
understands it at that level, and the importance of it. Because I mean, you've got thousands of people in gas lines. You got people without clean water. I mean, the infrastructure and stuff, and it's just amazing what can happen
Mhm.
when you don't have that culture in place.
Yep.